Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss the important topic in the stock markets, that is equity shares, preference shares and debentures. What are their types? First of all, before I go further, I would like to tell you what exactly the meaning of share. A share is a unit in the share capital. It represents a unit of equity ownership in a company. Of course, shares can be divided into two types: equity shares and preference shares. Basically, shareholders are entitled to get profits if the company earn in the form of dividend. Of course, the equity shareholders are also equally responsible if the company may face in the losses. In simple words, if you are a shareholder of a company, you hold percentage of ownership of the issuing company in proportion to the shares what you have bought from the company. Right. First of all, I would like to go for the equity shares and its types. Equity shares are also known as ordinary shares. They are shares being issued by a particular company. Of course, equity shares are transferable and are traded actively by the investors in the stock markets. Equity shareholders not only entitled to get dividend, but also they are entitled to get voting rights in the company's decision making. Equity shares are popular investment options among many investors. They are offer ownership of the company. Therefore, equity shares or shareholders are also considered as a part of the owners. These dividends, however, not fixed. Depend on the company's profits, equity shareholders are getting benefit out of it. Right. Now I am going to focus on equity shares and its types. Equity shares can be divided into based on the share capital, based on the definition, and based on the returns. First, I will go for the what is the classification of equity shares based on share capital. Right. We have to look at the classification of equity shares based on the share capital. First, there are different types of share capital: authorized share capital, issued share capital, subscribed share capital, called up capital, and paid up capital. Now, I will go one by one. What exactly meant by the authorized share capital? Every company in its memorandum of association, it is a document in that they are required to be mentioned the maximum amount of capital that can be raised by issuing equity shares. Of course, the limit can be increased or decreased by paying additional fees and after completion of some legal formalities for changing the memorandum of association in the capital clause. But as far as authorized share capital is concerned, this is the maximum limit where when a company can issue shares to the public. Then the another part of the share capital is issued share capital. What exactly it implies? It implies the specified portion of the company's capital which has been offered to the investors through issuance of the equity shares. For example, if the nominal value of one stock is 200 rupees and the company issues 20,000 equity shares, means the issued share capital will be the 40 lakhs. Then, having said that, let me move on to the another part of the share capital is subscribed share capital. This is the portion of share capital. That is, what is the portion of share capital in addition to that portion of issued share capital which has been subscribed by the investors is known as the subscribed share capital. It can be oversubscribed or undersubscribed, depend on the company's reputation. Then move on to further. I'm going to discuss the called up capital. Of course, this is the portion of subscribed capital which can be called up or repurchased by the company, whatever it may be. It can be called up or repurchased by the company. Then moving on to the paid up capital. This the amount of money paid by the investors in the stock is known as paid up capital. Of course, however, the as an investors pay entire amount at once, or it will be the paid up capital will be the ultimate amount is showing in the balance sheet of the company. Right. Again, I'm going to tell you authorized capital, which is mentioned in the memorandum of association. Issued share capital is a portion of the authorized share capital. Then subscribed share capital is a portion of issued share capital. Called up capital is a portion of subscribed share capital. Paid up capital is how the amount of money paid by the investors to the company while taking the holding of shares. This is in nutshell about the equity shares based on the share capital. Then moving further, the classification of equity shares based on definition. Right. First, I'm telling you about bonus shares. It implies the additional shares which are issued to the existing shareholders with free of cost or as a bonus. These shares are known as a bonus shares. These will be issued to the existing shareholder as free of cost. They are known as a bonus shares. Then coming to the right shares. Right shares means the company provide new shares to the existing shareholders at a particular price. Bonus shares will be given free of cost, whereas right shares will be particular cost within specific period before they are being offered for trading to the public or trading into the stock markets. They are giving first preference to the existing shareholders. If you wanted to purchase our shares, you can purchase, but that will be based on within specific period only. After that, that will be going to the public. Right. Another equity shares based on the definition is sweat equity shares. If any employee they have given wonderful contribution to the company or significant contribution to the company, then the company reward the concerned person by issuing sweat equity shares. The sweat means pasina, means the person who has done much hard work, much contribution to the company. So the company is going to reward the shares. Those shares are known as sweat equity shares. Then another one is voting and non-voting shares. Of course, although majority of shares carrying voting rights, as far as the equity shares is concerned, the company make an exception and issue zero voting rights to the shareholders. Usually, this type of shares are not available in present scenario. Then, the other classification is classification of equity shares based on returns. The return dividend means when the company gets profits, company is giving distributing to the shareholders some amount that is known as a dividend. Here I am talking about dividend shares. A company can choose to pay dividends in the form of issuing new shares on pro rata basis, on proportionate basis. They are known as dividend shares. Means company they wanted to choose to pay dividends in the form of issuing new shares. Means they instead of dividend they are giving new shares, that is known as the dividend shares. Then growth shares. Normally they are associated with the companies which extraordinary growth rates. These companies may not provide dividends. The value of their stock increase rapidly, then automatically they are going to provide capital gains to the investors. Means they are issuing growth shares to the the shareholders. Then another one is a value shares. There these type of shares are traded in the stock market at prices lower than the intrinsic value, that is the market value. Investors can expect the prices to appreciate over some time, thus providing them with better share price. These are known as the value shares. Again, I'm going to tell you classification. These are the different types of equity shares and its types. First classification is on the base of share capital, authorized, issued, subscribed, called up, and paid up. Based on definition, bonus shares, right shares, sweat equity, voting, and non-voting shares. And classification of equity shares based on returns, dividend shares, growth shares, value shares. Then, having said that, let me move on to the another form of the shares is known as preference shares and its types. Preference shares shareholders receive preferential in receiving the profits of the company as compared to the ordinary shareholders. However, the preference shareholders usually they don't have any voting rights in the company. Moreover, they are in the event of liquidation of the particular company, the preference shareholders are paid off before ordinary shareholders. Now, I'm going to discuss different types of shares in this category. Right? The first one is cumulative and non-cumulative preference shares. In this case of cumulative preference shares, a particular company doesn't declare any annual dividend for that particular year. What will happen? The benefit will be carried forward for the next financial year. Whereas non-cumulative preferences don't have any um, benefit provide for receiving outstanding dividends in the next year. Right. So cumulative, they are going to, if they are not in a provide position to pay the dividend in the particular year, that will be carried forward to the next year. Whereas non-cumulative preference, they don't get that type of benefit for them. Right. Another form of preference shares is participating and non-participating preference shares. Participating, the name itself indicates, the participating preference shares allow shareholders to receive surplus profits after payment of dividends by the company. Of course, this is over and above the receipt of particular dividend in specific period. Non-participating preference shares, that type of benefits they don't carry apart from the regular receipt of dividends. Then move on to the further convertible and non-convertible preference shares. The convertible preference shares can be converted into equity shares after meeting the requisite stipulations, conditions, rules of the company's articles of association, while non-convertible preference shares carry no such benefits further. Another one, redeemable and irredeemable preference shares. Redeemable, a company can redeem preference shares after fixed price and time. These type of shares can have maturity date. After maturity date, they can redeemable with the company. Whereas irredeemable preference shares, on the other hand, have no such conditions in this contest. Then the another one, the last one is debentures and its types. What exactly the debenture means? Debenture is a debt instrument. It is an acknowledgement of debt used by companies and moreover governments to issue the loan. Whenever the company wants some amount from the public, the company can issue debentures. That then they are going to get the loan. The loan issued to the corporators based on the reputation at a fixed rate of interest. Debentures, which serves as an IOU, means IOU between the issuer and purchaser. Companies use debentures when they need to borrow money at fixed rate of interest for its expansion. See here, shares they are the that can be raised capital, debentures that can be raised in the form of loan. They are going to borrow the money from the public by issuing debentures. Right now, I'm moving to the what are the different types of debentures. The first and foremost one is from the point view of security. Secured debentures and unsecured debentures. What do you mean by the secured debentures? These are the different kind of debentures which charge being established on particular asset or particular property of the company for the purpose of making payment to the debenture holders. This the charge may be floating or fixed. Fixed will be given to the particular assets which are long run purpose, and floating charge can be given to any. any assets for that matter. The fact of the matter is, a fixed charge is established in a particular asset where is floating charged on the general assets of company. So at the time of making the payment. So secured debentures means it is a charge being applied to the particular assets while making the payment to the debenture holders. Unsecured, they don't have any particular charge on the assets of the company. However, floating charge may be established on the debentures by default. Right. Usually, unsecured debentures are not circulated in these conditions and in this scenario at present scenario. Right. Then, another form of types of the debenture is from the point of view of the tenure. Again, I'm going to tell you redeemable debentures and irredeemable debentures. See, the debentures are those debentures which are due on the particular time frame is finished. They can make the payment either through lump sum or installments during the lifetime of the company. Debentures can be reclaimed at it can be redeemed at par or at premium. Par means at with the same value. Premium means more than the face value is known as the premium amount. They can redeemed at par or premium, whatever means depend on the particular situation of the company. Then irredeemable debentures means these are also called perpetual debentures. Perpetual nothing but it is a permanent in nature. The company doesn't give any attempt for the repayment of money acquired or borrowed by the circulating such debentures. These debentures are repayable on the closing of the company. Mostly these debentures are perpetual debentures in permanent in nature. These type of debentures will be used for the long run. Right. Then moving on to the third one is from the point of view of the convertibility. Of course, the debentures which are chargeable to or convertible into the equity shares or any other security for that matter, either at the choice of the company or the debentures or holders are called convertible debentures. These debentures are either entirely convertible or partly convertible. Right. And non convertible means these debentures which can't be converted into shares or in any other securities for that matter are called non convertible debentures. Most debentures are circulated by this company falls in this class. Right. The fourth one is a from coupon rate point of view. Right. First one is a specific coupon rate debentures. These debentures are circulated with mentioned rate of interest on the debenture. Means it could be 8%, 9%, 10%, or 14%. That will be mentioned in the debenture. So that type of debentures are known as specific coupon rate debentures, and it is also known as the coupon rate. Right. The another one is zero coupon rate debentures. Normally, these debentures carry particular rate of interest, but in order to ensure the investors, these debentures are circulated at a considerable discount rate. You may have get doubt come across in your mind that why people are purchasing zero coupon rate debentures when there is a coupon rate is zero, means there is no, they are not going to get any kind of interest in that. Why public is purchasing for the zero coupon rate debentures? Because there is a logic behind on that. Whenever they wanted to issue zero coupon rate debentures, they are going to issue at a discount. So whenever they are going to issue at a discount, the difference between the nominal value and circulated price, that is a discounted price, it's treated as the amount of interest associated to the particular debenture in the during period of time. So that is the logic behind zero coupon rate debentures. Then the last one is from the viewpoint of registration. Right. First one is a registered debentures and bearer debentures. What is exactly the difference between these two? The registered debentures are such debentures which requires all the details comprising addresses, names, particulars of holding of the debentures are filled in a particular register that will be kept by the company itself. These debentures can be moved only by performing normal transfer deed. Whereas bearer debentures or debentures which can be transferred by way of delivery and the company doesn't keep any record for that matter of debenture holders interest on debentures paid to a person whenever the person is producing the debenture, the person is going to get the interest coupon attached to the such debentures. So they are not maintaining any record as far as the bearer debentures are concerned. These are the in nutshell about the equity shares and its types, preference shares and its types, debentures and its types. So thank you one and all. Please like, share, comment and subscribe for more updates. Thank you so much for encouraging me.